Hello. In this lesson we'll talk about writing an opinion piece, which is the recommended second assessment for you. It will be the second text in your portfolio. In this lesson we look at what is an opinion piece, how to write an opinion piece, and some notes on language. I've also included an example for you to look at. This is only one way to write an opinion piece. It is the simplest way you can do it. Assessment task 2 is to write an opinion piece about Indigenous issues or any other Australian issue. You can choose whichever issue you want. The piece should be between 200 and 300 words, in Word format, part 2 of your portfolio of text, and it's due at the end of term, which for this term is the week of the 13th of the 9th. So what is an opinion piece? Well, it's a persuasive text. When you write an opinion piece, you're trying to convince the reader to agree with your opinion. So because of that, you use very emotional language, lots of adjectives, because you want to appeal to people's emotions. You want to make them angry, or you want them to sympathise, or you want them to feel very strongly about your opinion. Generally speaking, you should be backing up those emotional appeals with some statistics or factual information, perhaps some reference to universal declarations of human rights. But of course, not every person writing an opinion piece uses statistics and facts to back up their emotional appeals. Because it's an emotional piece, it's usually written in the first person. So I think, you should, we should. And it has lots of emotional language, so lots of adjectives like, this is a disgusting situation. So for our purposes, you only have 200 to 300 words to write. So this is a very, very simple way to write an opinion piece. Basically, I'm suggesting write 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph describes the issue. In the second paragraph, you give your opinion on the issue. And in the third paragraph, you propose the solution. So in the first paragraph, you describe the issue. It's like an introduction. You explain what is the issue that is concerning you. And then you have to link it to human rights. So you have to say, why is this a human rights issue? And to link it to human rights, you refer to a human rights document. So it could be the UDHR, it could be the UNDRIP as well, okay? So in the second paragraph, you talk about your opinion. So what is your opinion about this issue? Do you think this is an important issue? You could perhaps use this section to talk about the opposite side and why that side is wrong. And you can use statistics or articles or facts to support your opinion, and also use very emotional language in this part. Finally, in the third part of your text, the third paragraph, you propose a solution. What do you think should be done to solve the problem? What is your solution? And in this part as well, you also use very emotional language. I think we should. So you use things like should, must, impact, things like that. So because it's an opinion piece, you can once again use personal pronouns like I think, we should, you must. And you can use emotional language as well. Things like horrible situation, terrible injustice, unacceptable conditions. Or you might want to throw in some poetry. We can leave the dark days behind and look towards the light of a better era. Something like that. But because it's an emotional text, you can use poetic language, you can use metaphors, you can use emotional language. Anything that appeals to the emotions that might make somebody angry or upset or makes them believe what you're trying to tell them. So here is an example from a student in 3 clear paragraphs. The first paragraph talks about the fight for the rights of Indigenous people, referring to events that happened along the way. The second paragraph, the student gives their opinion and refers to statistics, and also to the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights and to the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. And then in the third paragraph, the student gives their opinion and says, I believe that this should happen, okay? And also refers to some emotional language and uses a metaphor as well at the end, okay? So just like a Catholic priest has his church set up the way he or she wants it, so should the Indigenous people have the right to exercise this judgment on their land. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you write an opinion piece for the purposes of this course. If you have any questions, send me an email.